Okay. Re-examining quantum of conscience, Not-Nilc. That's what this one's going to be called. This might not make sense to a lot of people out there, but anybody that watches Matt's channel, and I don't know Matt, I think he does some really good work, and thanks Matt for all the videos you put out. But I thought he just put out a video that was 2.5 hours long. I haven't watched all of it yet, but I've watched a substantial portion of it. I just ain't got time to sit and watch the whole thing in one go. Something got to me in it. Something clicked with me, or and I thought, well, you know what? I'll do a video on my theory, because he drops his theory at the end, and I'm not dismissing that theory at all. I just wanted to put my theory out there, or actually, this is not my theory. This is, I don't know where I got this from. Probably Alan Watts or somebody, and that what we're addressing here is the theory of what's going on in reality right now. And I guess if I can just minimize that, I hope this is still recording me. But I had some stuff written down on the screen. Let's see. I'll jump it back up so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that, but I got some stuff. I wrote a comment on his comments on that video, and actually, why don't I just read what I put for the comment, and then we'll explore it a little bit. So I put, here's another theory. Consciousness itself is creating all these pranks. When you create a prank, you put obvious clues in it to draw more energy from it. The energy that consciousness gets is entertainment. It's for itself. The energy that the elites get is power or control. Consciousness is ultimately controlling the elites and putting extra clues into reality. Okay? What the elites are doing is a reflection of consciousness's own prank. I didn't put this in there, but as above, so below. So yes, if you create a reality, you would want it to be interesting and explore both, read more, sides of non-duality. And then my final closing on that is, this is God's soap opera. Okay, so and this is what boils down. I've heard this on a number of occasions, but the one place I've heard it a bunch of times, but I do listen to a lot of Alan Watts, so is from Alan Watts, and it's the game that God invented, and you're not going to invent a game where you just sit around petting dogs and cats all day. I mean, I don't know. I know people. There's obviously a big problem with the idea that you could inflict this on yourself, because, okay, we're getting deep now, because when I say inflict it on yourself, what I'm saying is that there's a portion of you that is God. Okay, not just well, actually you're all God, but there's a portion of, let me explain it this way, right? Let's imagine, and I'm going to keep this simple, what the Holy Trinity is. There's a body that's created, okay? That body is like a filter, okay? Your genetics are set up differently to everybody else's. Those genetics is what filters information back to the spirit, and the spirit flows through you, through those genetics into you. it's like like a membrane, I suppose, where certain aspects of each can flow backwards and forwards. Okay, the union of those two things creates you, creates your soul, or your own spiritual being, or I don't know what you want to call it, your mind, your own consciousness, um, your ego, whatever you want to call it. That's the creation from the Holy Union. Okay, that's the Trinity that I'm talking about. Okay, I just want to keep it simple. Okay, now if you can understand that, then you can understand that if you're God and you decided, look, let's create something interesting here, somewhere I can go and enjoy myself and forget myself, because you can't remember that you're source, that you're God, that you're consciousness itself. So you can't remember these things, right? Because you cannot make, now some people can probably do it, but for the majority of people, they cannot make the leap or access through that filter. But there's a way of breaking down the barriers of that filter, the veil of the filter. That's really what the body is a veil. It only allows you to see certain things. Now, some people can lift that veil and peek through it and communicate directly into consciousness, and some people call that walking the path. Some people call that divine inspiration. This is when miracles happen. This kind of thing. But without getting too into it, God creates this soap opera. It's somewhere. I mean, to be quite honest, you don't really want to create somewhere that's just a complete hell, and you don't really want to create somewhere that's a complete heaven. Really, what you want to do is you want to create something that represents yourself, where you can go and enjoy everything to a certain extent. So the whole idea of the world really is a prank, and it's okay to play a prank on yourself. The difference is what we've got now, as I think we've got a bunch of people, the elites, that they've been played by God, okay, and the pranks that they're pulling on the world are actually real pranks. I mean, they're doing these pranks, right, and they're drawing some kind of energy from it. Just as I've done a video on this on another guy that pulled a prank on a bunch of people. It's psychopathic behavior in a sense, and it's all about control, and having control over somebody else. And this is why all the breadcrumbs are left. Okay, the more breadcrumbs you can leave in a prank, the more obvious you can make the prank, the more power you can glean from the prank. Okay, the more control you have. I don't know what else to say about it. What the elites are doing, I believe what's happened is they've been conned by reality itself into maybe believing that they're supposed to be doing this stuff or whatever, anyway, for whatever reasons. But reality itself, it knows, consciousness itself knows what these elites are doing. And I would hazard a guess that a lot of the clues that are left are not left by the elites. Now, there's some obvious ones that probably are, but there may be some other unintentional obvious stuff that's left actually by reality itself to draw attention to this, because this is what it wants. This is what the soap opera's about. It's about conflict. It's about that's basically what it's about. It's about creating conflict. With conflict comes entertainment. Whatever kind of conflict whether it's just an argument between you and your neighbour, or it's the Third World War. It doesn't matter what the conflict is. It's all about generating that kind of conflict. And it also generates a lot of love and a lot of other good things as well. But that's the point of it. It's to generate all these different aspects, all these different emotions and feelings and everything else that goes along with it. God wants to experience everything. You know, going to a place and just sitting on a beach all day long might sound like heaven to a lot of people here, but to God, you know. Anyway, so if you're going to create amnesia within yourself and then you want to go and experience something cool, you've got to create a reality like this. This is, this is what it boils down to, people. I know it sounds, I mean, a lot of people would have problems with it because they're like, oh, a loving God would never do that, I think what you've got to remember, and this is going to be a bit out there for some people as well, yes, God is loving, but God is also, God knows everything, and in order to experience these things, you've got to have opposites all the time, you've got to have these opposites, although reality itself and God itself is non-dual, that is the oneness. You've got to have different aspects and different perspectives in order to be able to experience everything. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. Once you understand what God is, everything and nothing, balanced. How do you balance a line that goes off to infinity both directions? You balance it with a circle. Okay, no beginning, no end. Even though there is a beginning and end, you can never get there. And the same with what was I going to say? Can't remember now. I've just had a complete mental block. But that's it. In a nutshell, this is what, if you look into nature all the time, what's it showing us? It's showing us different points of view, which we call duality, but different points of view balanced in a circle, in a cycle. Everything's balanced in cycles, people. I hope that helps somebody understand something. I don't know. I thought I'd do it anyway. Keep up the good work, Matt. Like your stuff. And I'll just stick this up there and see what happens, I suppose. Oh dear. Boy, I lost the whole screen. Yeah, I'm just thinking if there's anything else that I can possibly add to that. Because I know I just forgot something and I don't know. But yeah, everything is balance. And you've got to have them different points in the reality. Okay. I think that'll do. Alright, see you later.